up, everyone, and welcome back to the SpecTrezzure Entertainment Podcast, where we talk about all things from wellness, healing, devotion, and business to industry, and much more. Before we get on to this episode, make sure you guys follow me on my Instagram at _SpecialTreasure and follow me on my TikTok at SpecTrezzure09. If you guys don't know, I do have a brand, SpecTrezzure Apparel and Beauty. Make sure you guys shop with me. The link will be down in the description box below. And if you are listening to the audio, it is SpecTrezzure Apparel and Beauty. You can just Google it. It'll pop right up for you. Make sure you guys shop with me and tag me on Instagram when you do buy something. Speaking of audio, my podcast is now on Spotify. I am working on getting it on other platforms, but at this moment it is only on Spotify. So make sure you guys stream it on Spotify as well. Follow me on Spotify and become an active listener. On today's episode, I thought it would be fun to kind of dive into something a little bit more personal. We're going to play a game called This or That. Long story short, I'll read off two scenarios, and out of those two scenarios, I would choose which one I would rather do and why. And make sure you guys play this game with me in the comment section. Okay, so let's just get into it. Follow your dreams or another relationship? So I would definitely follow my dreams, because following another person, that's just not going to work for me. I do not believe in walking in someone else's footsteps. I believe in walking in your own path, serving your own journey, having your own mindset. Once you have a dream of your own and you aspire to be somebody, that is something that you would need to work on yourself. You do not need a partner. You do not need a person to kind of follow around in life. You need to be a leader and follow yourself. So I believe in being a leader, being myself, and walking in my own path, because last thing I need to do is follow someone else down the wrong path and then be stuck in a situation that I can't get out of. So definitely follow my dreams. Become notorious or unnoticed? This is interesting. Okay. I think if it's for the right reasons, I would rather be notorious. I'm a Libra. I do not like doing things and it not be noticed or recognized. Like, just to give a random example, if I clean the house, I want recognition. I want someone to walk in the house and be like, "Oh, this house is really clean. You did a really good job. Thank you." I need that for some reason. It makes me feel like I did something good. So I can't go unnoticed. That bothers me. That really, like, I don't know if it's a mental thing, if it's trauma. I don't know what it is. But I would definitely rather be notorious for obviously the right thing. Such as whether it's giving back, whether it's having a purpose and serving others, helping others. I'd rather be notorious in that than anything, because going unnoticed is not my style. Live in one place or move around? I'd say I definitely want to move around. I hate living in one place. I've lived in basically one place my whole life, and I cannot wait to move around. Like, there's so many states I want to live in. I want to live in, well, this is a city, so many different cities I want to live in. I definitely want to live in Vegas. That's a big dream of mine. I want to live in Arizona. I know that's a whole state, but somewhere nice in Arizona. I want to live in Houston. I want to live in Atlanta. I want to live in Charlotte. There's so many places in the US that I want to live. I also want to live in San Francisco, which I think I just want to go there for the aesthetic, for the calming aesthetic, for the fun, for the hills, for the bike rides, for close neighbors for no reason. Is Full House. That's so Raven. That's what I'm thinking of when I think of San Francisco. But yeah, definitely not live in one place. I need change in life. I hate being settled. I'm just not at that state. I'm 22 years old, so I want to continue to move around, experience new places, new people, things like that. So I'm definitely going to be the person to move around a lot. Spend money or save money? Okay, so this is definitely easy for me. Well, I know I should be saving money more, but I prefer to save. Okay, let's be honest with myself. Let's be honest. I prefer to save money versus spend money, because I have goals in life. But my reality is that I definitely spend more than I save, and that's something I'm working on myself. So do not come for me in the comments. I know I'm being a hypocrite right now. I'm not doing what I would recommend. That doesn't matter. I'm living my life, so mind your business. I'd rather spend money. Well, not rather. I'd rather save money. But I do spend money more than I save money, because I just love a good time. I love a good experience. But let me just say this. I don't spend money on dumb stuff. Like I spend money on seafood. I spend money on going out, having a good time, a great drink or three. I spend my money on that kind of stuff, and I know it's temporary, so I'm not like spending money on, like, I'm not investing in something big, but I mean, I make sure all my bills is paid, my car is paid, things like that. So as long as my bills are taken care of, I'm gonna have a good time. A tiny home or a mansion? Okay, so here's the thing with tiny homes. I've been seeing them so much on YouTube lately, and I think they're so cute when they turn a shed into a home. I think it's the most cutest thing ever. But for the amount of stuff I have, and I truly just like a lot of space, I'm going to have to definitely go with a mansion. I just love having space, and I love having aesthetically pleasing space. I don't like too much clutter. People who know me, if they see my room, they'll think I'm crazy. But if you don't know me, just know I don't like clutter. So mansion would definitely be the best place. I love storage spaces and like indented shelves in the walls, like things like that. So it's definitely given more of a mansion than a tiny home. Live with regrets or no regrets? I mean, obviously, I would definitely say no regrets. I don't think anyone should ever feel bad for what they have done in life. I mean, you live and you learn from your mistakes. As long as you recognize your mistakes, you accept your mistakes and move on from it, learn from it, and really find the purpose of why it happened. There's really no need to regret it. Change it into something, like flip the switch around, no matter how bad it is, and learn something from it and heal from it. Then I think you'll be all set. There's no reason to regret anything. I have said that in the past, like, oh, I regret doing this, I regret doing that. But now being 22 and learning how much I've learned from those things and healed from those things, I don't regret anything. So I definitely am an advocate for no regrets. Emotional support or financial support? Okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to go with emotional support, of course, versus financial support. It irks my life to even ask someone for anything when it comes to financials. I'd rather just have that in the bag myself, do it myself. That's why I'm working so hard, as you guys can see. So make sure you subscribe and follow me. But with that being said, definitely emotional support. I think mental health is such a big thing these days, and versus previous generations or previous time periods where people did not take mental health serious. They really, I think this generation, we realize what genuinely hurts us and makes us feel sad or down and depressed, and we address it now, and we really like to speak out about our feelings versus holding them in. And people from previous generations may call us weak, may call us all these names, like, oh, we haven't been through much, or whatever the case may be. But to me, it's like we're just the new generation that's finally speaking out about the trauma that you've been holding in your whole life. So don't get mad at us, because we finally have the balls that you never had back in the day. That's really how I feel about that. So when it comes to that question, definitely emotional support. I'd rather my family support me emotionally, check up on me, check on my mental health, ask if I'm okay, ask how I'm doing, versus them asking me, oh, do you need money? Do you need me to cover that for you? The answer is no. Like, I'm a cover that regardless financially, but when it comes to emotional support, I definitely rather that from anybody I love. Collectivism or individualism? So for this question, I definitely would say individualism, just because I'd rather define myself and promote myself than a group, and be a part of an image that does not solely identify as myself. I understand having a team and having a group that supports you, going with the flow, having management, a whole team behind you. However, what they do not define who I am. So that's why I love to individualize myself. Like, this is me. I don't care what this person's doing, what that person's doing. If I was hanging out with this person, that's what they're doing now. Whatever the case may be, I'm all about my individual self and who I am as a person. So I definitely would choose individualism over everything. Take control of your anxiety or suppress it? So definitely control your anxiety. I mean, control it in a way where it is healthy, and you know how to, there's a time and place for it. Not that you can't help when you have anxiety. I mean, we all know that anxiety just comes and goes. But when you're aware of what triggers your anxiety, you know to not put yourself in that situation, to not place yourself in an environment where an anxiety attack is able to be triggered or to happen, because that is the worst when you're out in public or at a family function or whatever the case may be, and then you have an anxiety attack, and then all the spotlights on you and everyone's questioning you and wondering what's wrong with you and things like that. So once you do the self-work and really learn your triggers, really learn what calms you, what can help you in those situations, and really just take charge of your life. Once you have control over your life, you'll know what to do in situations like that. Like, for instance, I know when I'm in the mix of a crowd that is undensed, really off balance, like you can't tell what's going to happen next. You can read the room and know it's a good vibe. And I'm not saying this means that bad things can happen when it's a good vibe, because it happens all the time. But you can kind of read a room when you know people are looking suspect, people are moving weird. That's how you know to get out the situation. Like, for instance, I have a little short story real quick. One night I went out with my friends. We went to this club in our city, and we were having a good time, and they wanted me to stay there till 2 a.m. and I was like, no, I'm leaving at 12. And they was like, no, just stay a little longer. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like, I'm leaving at 12. Like, I'm not saying it, just nothing good happens after 12. So they convinced me to stay until 12:30. So I stayed until 12:30, and I was like, that's it. I'm not staying until the early hours of the morning. No, that's when people start leaving. People are leaving the clubs drunk and things like that. So I was definitely like, no, like, I need to get out of here before people are more outside than they are in the building. So that's when bad things happen. Long story short, there was a guy at the club, and he was just near our group of girls, like he was with another group or whatever. And turns out I filmed a movie with that guy a couple days later. And then I was like, oh wait, you're the guy at the such and such. He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, we left around 12:30. He was like, good thing you did, because I had a drink thrown in my face and there was a fight that broke out. And I'm like, can't wait to tell my friends, because this is why I said, let's leave at a certain time. There's no need for us to stay. Like, what are we staying for? We got here at a good time. 2 to 3 hours having fun. Let's leave, because there's no need to stay in a situation where you kind of have a feeling that a bad thing is going to happen. So with that situation, I myself took control of my anxiety and I left. I did not stay in that situation waiting for something bad to happen, because I knew that I just felt it in my gut. I read the room, and I don't know if they just wasn't. I also don't get drunk when I go out. Strictly White Claws, 1 or 2, just for the cheers, just for the picture, and that's it. So when you know that you're a little off your rocket or whatever the case may be, take control, learn yourself and learn your area, read your environment, and remove yourself from that situation. Okay, so long story short, even though the story was already long, my answer is control my anxiety, or take control of anxiety instead of suppressing it. Being social or antisocial? I would definitely say being social. Being antisocial will definitely hold you back from a lot of opportunities. I used to be a really shy girl around certain people, and then really outgoing around others. Now, as a 22-year-old, I'm definitely outgoing all the way around. I don't care who's around. I'm myself 24/7. I mean, there's always a time and place to be rambunctious and loud and things like that, of course, but I'm still myself 24/7. You don't really get nothing else other than me. And that's something I really take pride on, because when I was younger, I dealt with a lot of identity issues, especially going to an all-white school, and you're too white for the black people and too black for the white people. And then you just sit in the middle, and just like every period I was someone different. So it was really a problem. So that's why I'm so happy I took the self-work, and I know myself now. And I don't care what anybody has to say about the way I talk, the way I dress, the way I act. You act this color, you act that color. Cool, do you. As long as that satisfies you, go off. It doesn't affect me in any way, because I know who I am. So I love being a sociable person. I love being outgoing. And I think being antisocial just kind of holds you back from so many opportunities. You never know who you're going to meet if you're just in a corner antisocial. Sometimes they come across as mean, or it gives off this negative aura about you, and you never want that to be the case. You don't never want someone else to write the narrative of what you feel and what you are. So just always be sociable. Not saying you have to go be outgoing and shake everyone's hand, but always look approachable is the best word. Forgive people who hurt you or don't forgive. I'm, again, like I said, this podcast is to really help young females learn to heal from their trauma and heal from what they've been through in life. So my answer would definitely be forgive and heal from, I guess you can forgive but not forget the people who hurt you. And forgive them for yourself, not for them, not so they could be like, okay, yes, they finally forgave me. No, forgive them for yourself so you can close that chapter and move on with your life, because honestly, it's going to take a lot of self-work that you have to do for yourself. Even though they're the ones that hurt you, they are the ones that cause pain on you. They already left you for the dirt. They're not going to come back and make sure you're okay. Just see if you're still suffering from what they did to you. That's not what they're going to do. That's not in their character trait. That's not what they do to the people that they hurt. They just don't care. So it's up to you as the person who went through the traumatic experience and heal yourself, learn yourself, find different ways to move on from your life without moving on and throwing the situation under the rug. More of taking charge of that situation, accepting the situation, understanding that you are not at fault for that situation, and truly heal from it. Learn different therapeutic ways to move on from that situation. Good question to end on. If you guys, like I said, shop with me, just throwing that in there right now. I do have Trauma Queen merch for those of us who've been through so much trauma in life and have healed from it, and instead of hiding it, you took charge of it and made it a part of your journey. It's just a separate chapter of your life that you have closed off. Definitely rock your Trauma Queen merch, because we also have to really stick together as females, knowing that we've been through so much. And I'm not saying guys haven't at all, but this is a female podcast. I'm a female myself, so I can only speak from a female perspective. But definitely heal, go on your self-work journey, learn to love yourself, learn to accept what has happened in the past, and close that chapter. So with that being said, I'm going to end it off on that note. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions for any future podcast episodes, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. If you are on Spotify, make sure you either DM me or you can leave a comment on this episode right on the Spotify app. Okay, but that is all. I'm going to stop rambling. Make sure you guys follow me on all my social medias, shop with me, and subscribe for more episodes. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.